Hi, I'm Pat McCarthy. I'm the program director for the Medical College of Wisconsin Pediatric Hospital Medicine Fellowship. I'm here today with several of our faculty members from Pediatric Hospital Medicine in order to talk a little bit about themselves and a little bit about our program. So I think it'd be great if everybody could go around and just introduce themselves and tell us just a little bit about you and sort of what you do within our section.
I'll start. Hi, my name is Brett Bordini. I'm one of the pediatric hospitalists here at MCW and Children's Wisconsin. I've been a hospitalist here for just about 10 years now. And I, in addition to my hospital medicine work, have found a lot of additional projects that have brought me a lot of satisfaction in my role here at Children's and MCW. In addition to being a hospitalist, I also work on our hospital's undiagnosed and rare disease program, and I also work with our medical Spanish program for the students at MCW.
Hi, I'm Sarah Lauk, also a hospitalist here at MCW and Children's Wisconsin. I've now been here for almost 8 years, and my main academic interest over the years is in undergraduate medical education. I'm one of the co-directors of the pediatric clerkship for our third year clerkship as the students rotate through the wards and the outpatient rotation. And I've really enjoyed working with everyone within our section and throughout the hospital and medical college on various projects, and very excited about how into education everyone is here.
Hi, my name is Kyle Pronko. I'm also one of the hospitalists here at Children's Wisconsin. And clinically, I work primarily as a nocturnist here. I've been here for coming up on 2 years now, here at Children's Wisconsin and here in the state of Wisconsin. Outside of clinical work as a hospitalist, I've had the opportunity to work on a variety of different academic interests. I do a lot of direct teaching with the medical students and the residents here. I've worked on various QI projects and some research projects, and also on some committees within our section, largely that work on various workflows and processes and things.
Hi, I'm Amanda Rogers. I am a hospitalist here. I've been here for about 7 years. In this role, I did my residency training prior to that, so I've been with the institution for a while. My main academic interest is resident education. I'm one of the associate program directors with the residency program, and have been in that role for about 5 years, and have really enjoyed the opportunity to work with. We've got a large program here, and lots of different ways to get involved with our learners that way. Within the residency, I focus mainly on our simulation education program is one of my areas of interest, running the program both for our residents for that, as well as some interprofessional simulations that we do throughout the institution too. So getting to work with nurses and fellows and faculty in that role too. And then the other area that I'm involved with is our discharge planning through Children's, and getting to focus on transitions of cares for the patients as we're sending them out from our time in the hospital here and transitioning back to their primary care providers.
I'm Sarah Yale. I'm also one of the pediatric hospitalists, and clinically work mostly days. When I am not doing clinical work, I have found that my interests really lie in patient safety, and have been doing some projects related to diagnostic timeouts, and how that work kind of plays into one of my other roles, which is one of the unit-based medical directors at Children's Wisconsin.
All right, thanks everybody. As we're going through and trying to share some information with our prospective fellows, some questions have arose that we were hoping that everybody could help address to be able to provide some more information for our prospective applicants. So the first question that we had was, why did you choose to be a pediatric hospitalist at Medical College of Wisconsin and Children's Wisconsin? I don't know, Dr. Bordini, if you wouldn't mind starting off with that one.
Happy to. So I came here in 2006 for my residency training, and I had initially matched into our combined pediatric neurology fellowship training program. And I got about a year into my rotations here at Children's, and realized that I didn't want to specialize in neurology because I enjoyed the entire breadth of pediatrics, and in particular, really enjoyed working with the hospital medicine group. So I changed my training plan and ended up doing an entire pediatrics residency. And when I got through my senior ward rotations on the hospital medicine service, I felt a degree of kinship and collegiality with the group, and they really took me under their wing. After I completed the rotation, they even took me out to dinner and gave me the hard sell on why I'd be a good fit for joining the hospitalist group. And it was an easy decision. It was a great match for my interests. It was a wonderful group of people that has since expanded into an even larger group of wonderful people. And so it was that sense of matching my clinical interests with a group of like-minded but diverse individuals in terms of their scholarly interests, their experiences, their backgrounds, that really allowed me to feel at home in the group. And I've found those initial impressions affirmed time and time again in the support that I've had to develop my academic interests, my scholarly work, and identify mentorship. I've just found my initial impressions of the group here reaffirmed time and time again.
Excellent. Dr. Yale, would you like to comment?
Yes. And so this is actually a pretty easy question for me, and sounds somewhat cliche to say people, but I had a somewhat different path than Dr. Bordini. I actually was an Air Force family for a little bit, so have had the opportunity to train and be in different parts of the country, see different hospitals, see different programs. I grew up here in Milwaukee and am so excited to be back because the people here and the patient population is incredible. So like Dr. Bordini was saying, I think our group is really unique in that people have this diverse set of interests outside of their clinical area, but kind of use that to support one another, whether that's in their projects, their academic interests. But then when it comes down to the clinical care, it is one of the hardest working group of people, and being a relatively new faculty, one of the most supportive group of people, that is just a great place to work. And then also speaking a little bit to the patient population, I love that at Children's, we see everything from bread and butter peds to really complex kids and take care of them throughout. So I love the people both inside the hospital, the patients, and the people that I see every day in the office. And I miss seeing them because we are recording this right now during COVID. But as you can see, we really enjoy each other, and honestly, we have a lot of fun. So that's my easy answer for that.
Yeah, and I guess I can jump in and add into that too. I came to Wisconsin almost 2 years ago now, having before that lived on both coasts, but never in the Midwest at all. But what drew me here, I think, was, at least initially, was the hospital and the group of people working here, both for their the clinical environment that I wanted to work in, and also the environment for supporting things outside of clinical work. And so, like Sarah alluded to already, I think the depth and breadth of things that we get to cover on our hospitalist service was very much the clinical environment that I wanted to work in. And then outside of that, the opportunities to work on academic projects and administrative projects really seemed pretty abundant. And already, as an outsider, having only been here for 2 years, I already have had a chance to give feedback and comment on how some of the processes work within our section, have been able to get involved with research projects and various QI projects, and have been able to start working really closely with some of the medical students and residents here. And so I think it really touched on basically every aspect of what I was looking to do, having finished residency.
All right, well, thanks. Moving on to our next and kind of related question. What do you like about working at Medical College of Wisconsin and Children's Wisconsin? Dr. Lauk, if you wouldn't mind taking this one.
Yeah, of course. So, a lot of what I would say is really going to piggyback on what others have already said, as far as what drew them here and what they like about our hospital and about the medical college. So I grew up in the area and went to medical school here at the Medical College of Wisconsin. So really my understanding and knowledge of children's was based on my experience in the clerkship when I rotated and when I did my acting intern month. And then I went away for residency and with the eventual intention of coming back to Wisconsin where my family is. And it really has been, everything about the hospital, everything about being faculty here has been what I wanted in eventually a hospitalist position. And it's really come kind of full circle as I've now come back and been very involved in the clerkship the entire time I've been here. And it's been really cool to kind of see both sides as a student and then, coming back as faculty and to, be a big part of all those behind the scenes conversations and curriculum development and all of those kinds of things at the medical student level. So clinically, the things that I really love are many of the same things I witnessed as a student, the collaborative nature of our hospital, not only within hospital medicine, which as Dr. Yale mentioned earlier, we are a very fun and very collegial group. And, I've been here for several years, but I still am constantly bouncing ideas off of my colleagues, and I feel very supported and that we, are very collegial. We have patient discussions where we can kind of formally talk about patients, and then certainly, we go in the team room and bounce ideas off of each other all the time, which I find really helpful. And then kind of on top of that, I think hospital-wide, we work very multidisciplinary. So I think our patient and family-centered rounds here are really excellent and really involve a multidisciplinary approach to really successfully meet the needs of our patients and meet the needs of our learners. And really, provide both that education to learners as well as to families and a smooth transition out as patients are discharged out of the hospital as well. And then, again, academically, as I mentioned, I think our entire section in hospital medicine and then throughout the hospital is very devoted to medical education. And there's just so many opportunities that you can get involved in that then kind of lead to other opportunities. And so that's been a really neat experience to have. And I've really enjoyed that part of my career so far as well.
I can comment as well. I think, one of the things that really drew me when I was looking at programs, and one of the reasons I stayed here was just really loving the patient population that we get to take care of here. I think it's a really unique place in that we're the primary hospital for the surrounding area for most of Wisconsin and Northern Illinois and the surrounding states. And so we get a lot of bread and butter and initial presentations of things. So you kind of get those kids coming straight from their pediatrician's office without any diagnosis and get to see that initial workup. But then we also have every subspecialty here, and we're a national and international referral center. And so you get people from all over the country and all over the world who come to see some of our specialists. And from an educational standpoint, it was a great opportunity just to get to see things I never even had heard of before on a consistent basis, but also still get that solid bread and butter pediatrics. And I loved that as a resident and as a trainee here of the educational breadth I got. And then now as a clinician, just that diversity of on service. I'll go from an asthmatic to a bronchiolitic to someone that we're sequencing for their undiagnosed genetic syndrome to last time I was on service, I had 4 fever of unknown origins within a week. And it was just a fascinating week and got to learn a lot. And so it's never dull that way, but really feel like I get to keep that breadth throughout my career, really get a lot of exposure and a lot of learning that way. And then with that diversity in the subspecialties that we work with, tons of just amazing people to get to work with. I learn something new every time I'm on service and every time I consult people. We have a lot of really invested subspecialists here that we get to work with, and who are the ones, on first call that you're talking to when you're calling consultants and are at the bedside and come to rounds. And so really getting some national experts and really renowned people in their fields who you're chatting with about your patient in the hallway or working on projects with, and are just very welcoming and invested people, both in the patients here as well as in our trainees. I love is in my role with the residents. Anytime I have a resident who's interested in a project and this is a field I'm interested in, and I can plug them in with someone who's nationally known in that area and who's happy to mentor them and work with them. And I think that's a unique opportunity that I love being able to provide that to our trainees here, and to get to experience it myself as a clinician too.
I think that's a really nice segue actually into our next question. We've talked a lot about our section in our hospital. I'd like to focus now maybe a little bit specifically on our fellowship program. So the next question is, how will our fellowship program help prepare individuals both academically and clinically?
Clinically, I think it's a lot of what you heard about our patient population, and you are going to see it all. You are not going to admit a patient and then say, oh, you need this type of subspecialty care, we are going to ship you off to X hospital. You are going to see them from the beginning to the end, all the way through their transition back into the outpatient world, and you will see a lot of the same kids over and over, which is kind of a unique relationship when you're an inpatient physician. I think the fellowship itself is really going to plug people in to get that breadth and get such a strong foundation. So you are going to see what we've talked about at our big tertiary academic center and all of those complex kids. In the community rotation, you're going to see just how different that model looks and the set of skills you need there. You're going to work with our palliative care team to have those conversations. You're going to work on our sedation elective and rotation. You are going to learn all of those things so that no matter where you go and practice someday, you're going to have the skill set and the know-how to be able to handle anything. Because there's one thing that we know about our job is you constantly see new stuff. So really having that clinical experience in all those different areas is going to give you that strong foundation. And then kind of the icing on the cake of all your clinical experience will be your academic rotations. And I think something that's really important about that is just the investment that the fellowship leadership has put in on the backside of that. So I know a lot of times a curriculum is really just thrown at fellows and it's institution wide, but the curriculum here has really truly been built for your education. So your journal clubs, your M&M series is specific to pediatric hospital medicine, and that will really kind of augment and really solidify your clinical experience. So I know a lot of blood, sweat, and tears has gone into that curriculum, including sim and all of those things. And just know that it is really, really going to be amazing for your learning experience.
So I would echo what Dr. Yale had to say in that there is a breadth to the clinical experience that will prepare you very well for independent practice as a pediatric hospitalist. And that experience is going to be provided in a very safe and graduated experience sort of manner, in that you will have levels of support under you so that you can progress in your experience and your comfort in your independent clinical care in a manner where you feel safe in doing so. In addition to that, I think that there is such a wide array of clinical presentations like others have mentioned, and that you are going to have a wide experience to prepare you for pretty much anything that's going to come through the doors in your future practice. From a scholarly and academic standpoint, the opportunities for mentorship both within and outside of the section are numerous. And I personally have had the benefit of mentors over the years from a wide array of experiences that have helped me figure out and hone my scholarly work in such a fashion that I've been able to develop my own unique voice as an academician, but also draw on the experiences of others in order to be able to pursue my own interests and yet feel supported doing so.
I think we definitely have a wide array of opportunities to work with learners, really from all different arrays of their training. And I think that's a great experience to have as you're looking into a career within hospital medicine. Certainly, if you're at an academic center in your future career, skill set that's essential. And even if not, we all know that half of pediatrics is teaching and developing those skill sets and working with our patients and families are huge as well. But really, the breadth that you'll have, we have pretty large and multi-level learner teams. We'll have, when you're on rounds, you have interns, you have fellows with us, we have our seniors, we have rotators who come from family practice programs and from the ER. And so really a wide array of people you're working with in addition to our students on their 3rd and 4th year rotation. And so definitely different skills in working with those different levels and giving the opportunity to really dive into that both on your clinical side when you're on wards and different rotations and leading rounds, as well as tons of opportunities to get involved on the academic side. We're always looking for volunteers to help us with different events and leading projects, and tons of opportunities to get involved from a scholarly standpoint too, which I think is a critical skill within hospital medicine. And then lots of people who are really invested and involved in that and have been doing that for years here. So great people to learn from. And my career has been built on some of my mentors. I've had an opportunity to learn from and observe and just really hone some of my skills from watching the people that I really admire in that. So I think that's a great asset to get to develop through your time here.
Yeah, and just to kind of add on to that too, lots of opportunities at the medical student level as well. We have a pretty big medical school class here, over 200 students. And so there are tons of opportunities if you want to get involved in some of the 1st and 2nd year courses, especially those that kind of pertain to their intro to the clinical world courses. And those are nice because you can volunteer kind of whenever you're available and they don't require a lot of preparation work. So it's a nice, easy way to get involved early on. And then, of course, there's lots of clinical opportunities to get involved in the clerkship. There's, tons of support as far as if you have a specific interest of something that you would want to get involved in at a medical student level. And just to kind of, again, piggyback on what others have said, since we are such a collaborative group in hospital medicine and very devoted to medical education, I think you just will find a lot of support if you do think of a project or some sort of interest that you have within medical education, whether it's medical student or resident. Just the other day, I sent out an email looking for volunteers from our group to help with a med student project, and within like seconds, people were responding that they were interested. So it's just, we've got a great group from that standpoint of being collaborative, willing to help each other out with projects. And I think that is really beneficial as you kind of grow your CV and grow your academic interests and kind of figure out where your niche is as well.
All right, well, we've talked a little bit about the institution and the program. Clearly, we all work here, but we all live in Milwaukee or around Milwaukee as well. I was just wondering if everybody could take just a little bit of time and tell us what you like about living here.
I am happy to start with this one. When I came to interview for my job here, it was the first time I'd ever come to Wisconsin. But I've really had the opportunity then to have the city grow on me. I really enjoy how easy of a place Milwaukee is to live. It's really affordable. It's really easy to get around. And, you read all the time about how like a short commute is one of the things that truly makes people happier. And so I really enjoy that, having lived in other large cities. I think Milwaukee has a really unique like history and culture, which makes it a nice place to live and then sort of adds flair to its architecture and things like that. I think being right on Lake Michigan is lovely in terms of like outdoor recreational opportunities. And certainly outside of Milwaukee also, there's quite a bit to do outside. And then too, for anyone whose maybe social network is not based in Wisconsin, I really love the airport we have. I've gone from my front door to my gate in under 45 minutes on like Thanksgiving, and so that opportunity is really great too.
Having bumped into Kyle at the airport on that trip, I think I can attest to that. Yeah. So Milwaukee offers a lot of convenience. I'm a Wisconsin native. I grew up in Green Bay, spent 8 years in education in Madison before coming here for my residency program. And I love everything about living here. I agree that Milwaukee has a very rich history, and that history has influenced its current sort of destination city status. It's got a vibrant arts and food and music culture, and there are a lot of neighborhoods throughout the city that offer amenities that are just hard to come by in other cities. Whether you want sort of a very walkable neighborhood where everything is sort of densely packed in, or if you want a little more space, both in your home and in your yard. There are a lot of different communities that offer those things to different people. So I've really loved living here. Milwaukee was not on my radar, even as a Wisconsin native growing up. And I came here for a rotation as a fourth-year student and asked myself what I missed all of those years, because I really enjoyed everything that the city had to offer. It didn't hurt that it was a pretty low-key rotation and we had a lot of time to go out with each other. But that continues. So even here at work, when you're off service, there's a flexibility to your work-life balance that allows you to take advantage of everything that the community has to offer here in the city as well as in the surrounding areas.
I am going to just lay out there what everyone wants to really know. We have great beer and cheese. That is true. Because if you are not from here, that is probably one of the few things you've heard about Wisconsin. And as someone who has lived all over and circled back, it is true. I mean, the Bloody Mary with the toppings and the types of cheese, you can't beat it. You will never go hungry. You will never go thirsty, no matter what type of beverage you like. And then the other thing that I will be frank about is you're probably wondering, it is freezing cold here in winter. There are places that are worse. But two things to make you feel better. There is a tunnel underground that goes from the office to the hospital. So if you truly detest the cold that much, you park your car, never have to go outside, drive home, literally never have to see the snow. And I do think, because I lived in a very warm beach climate before this, the winter is not fun, but we make up for it in summer here, just how much people are outside and we love it. And I do love having this season. So in summary, beer, cheese, and you will survive the winter are the reasons that I love Milwaukee very, very much.
Similar. I was really surprised. I'm from Chicago initially, and honestly had never come here until coming for a fourth-year rotation as well. Apart from a few summer fests, which are can't miss those when you're here. But really came and was really surprised and fell in love with the city as well. I think kind of the combination it has of, as people have mentioned, very affordable. You can get anywhere in 20 minutes, which is my favorite thing from coming from Chicago. The lack of traffic is beautiful. But it has a lot more than I ever gave it credit for. It's a beautiful city, and there's a million lakefronts and beaches and festivals every other minute in the summer. So tons of stuff to do, which really surprised me, and I love that. I have two young kids, and so I really enjoyed it from a family perspective too. There was lots of job opportunities for my husband to come, and he's really had a thriving career after I've made him relocate a few times throughout my training. And then tons of things for our kids. I love the school districts. We've just been so fortunate to have lots of opportunities there, and there's a wonderful zoo and children's museums, and so a really great place. I've enjoyed raising my kids here. So it was really surprising to me, and we were just rated recently in Vogue magazine as one of the most underrated cities in the country. So I think it's lived up to that for me.
And I agree with all of the above. I was told once that I could do PR for Milwaukee because I talk so highly about it all the time. And I mean, I grew up in the area, so, I'm of course partial, but I have lived elsewhere, and I really, have come back to those ideas that there's just so much to do here for, it's a mid-sized city, so it has the benefits of not being a huge city, and that it's easy to get around. Parking's never too terrible. It's very affordable, but then there's also lots of great things to do as a big city would have. So in the summertime, there's tons to do around Lake Michigan, festivals every weekend, where you can get that beer and cheese and other things. And then, just lots of really great restaurants kind of both downtown as well as in the suburbs. And, you know, again, just kind of, I would agree with everything that everyone said about that. And if you do like winter sports, there are, you know, lots of things that you can do in the winter time too, cross-country skiing, things like that as well. There's a lot of great county and state parks as well, as you know, kind of throughout the area. And so if you know, like outdoor activities, both downtown by the lake, and then, you know, as you get further west, there's tons to do that in that way.
All right, so as we're getting close to kind of wrapping up, I was wondering if maybe we could go around the horn just once to see if anybody has any just final thoughts or final pieces of wisdom that they might share with our prospective applicants.
I don't know if this is wisdom because I don't think I'm a very wise person, but I think I want to let you guys know that you, and I'm partial, picked the best career. I obviously am still somewhat new in this career, but could not be happier with my choice and the opportunities that it brings and a lot of what other people have talked about. So as you interview places, look around. You've probably heard this when you interviewed for residency too, but truly look at the people, and are these people that you want to be around? Are these people that are going to be those who help you grow and help you establish your career, and see how happy they are. Are they fun? Are they the kind of people that you want to be with? So you'll find your you'll find your people, and we're the best ones.
I definitely agree that a career in hospital medicine just offers so many opportunities, you know, way more than I realized as a student for sure, and definitely even as a resident, just on where your career path can end up going. And so, you know, again, as you're looking through programs, if you have an idea, and if you don't know completely yet kind of what area you're you know, exceptionally interested in, that's okay. But if you can kind of start thinking about where your interests lie, and then, you know, kind of try to see what's all available at the programs you're looking at. And I definitely can confidently say that we've got a lot of different, you know, great opportunities here in a lot of different areas within hospital medicine, clinically and academically, as people have touched upon, and a lot of opportunity to work with some really great people, as everyone has mentioned as well.
I agree with that. They say it takes a village to raise a child, and I'd say it takes a great practice full of wonderful people to raise a successful hospitalist. And I feel like I was the beneficiary of that sort of ethos. And having come into my career with a bit of an undifferentiated idea of who I was and what I was going to be academically, it was the people and this practice in particular that really helped me find myself, find my voice, and develop a sense of community and a sense of home here. And so I think, you know, you can be exposed to a lot of different patient care scenarios and training programs anywhere, but you're going to be better served by a program that offers you that sense of belonging, that sense of home, that sense of support, that really allows you to develop a clearer vision of who you are going forward as you train and move beyond your training. And I'm so forever grateful for what this program in this place has offered me, and I look forward to being a part of that program for people as they come through their training here.
Yeah, I would say, I think in pediatrics, as far as our residency training goes, we're really blessed to have a lot of great children's hospitals and great programs around the country to choose from. That also, maybe by the nature of ACGME requirements or whatever it may be, do offer a lot of similar things if you get down to the real nitty-gritty of them. And as I have looked through hospitalist fellowship programs, I've been struck by how different they can be. And so I think it really is an opportunity for those who are applying to those programs to really sit down and think about, as best they can at this stage of their career, what their goals are for the future, and trying to make sure that the fellowship program that they choose matches up and supports their interests. And being cognizant of finding a program that matches your interests both at work and academically, while also supports you with the things that you'll need outside of work when you are a fellow.
I think, there's not going to be one best program, in the country, and I think it's finding the one that's right for you. And so I think my advice would just to really, do your homework and find the information you need to find the place that's right for you, both in, the structure and having the resources that are going to help give you the opportunities for your future, but also in the people where you feel at home and where you feel like that can be your community and the people that you want to spend the next 2 years of your life with. And so I'd encourage you to reach out, and we realize this year in particular is going to be a little bit challenging, and so email us and ask and share your interests, and we can always connect you if we're not the ones in that area to find the right people to match you with, to have the conversation so that you can get the information you need to really make an informed decision, because that's really our goal, is to help you become the best hospitalist you can be and get you the resources to get where you want to go. And we certainly hope for the right people. We're that, and we're happy to welcome you guys and really excited to support our trainees as they come through. But we want to make sure we're getting you that information. And so please reach out and ask questions and get the information that you can so that you can be at the right place.
All right, well, I must give a huge amount of thanks to Dr. Bordini, Dr. Lauk, Dr. Franco, Dr. Rogers, Dr. Yale, for taking the time to speak to our prospective applicants today. As always, if there's any questions, concerns that come up, please do feel free to contact us. We will have our contact information available at the end of this video. Please feel free to explore our website and the other videos on our website for further information. Thanks again for your interest in our program and taking time to watch today.